This is one of the most expensive Air Jordan 11s to ever release, but is it worth the very high retail price? Let's find out. This is the H-Town Air Jordan 11. It's part of Jordan Brand's 30th anniversary of the Air Jordan 11 rollout. It first released at ComplexCon 2025 alongside the Mojave colorway and is now officially releasing on November 22nd for a retail price of $255, which is a lot of money to pay for a pair of Air Jordan 11s. Now, with that being said, it is a very high quality pair of Air Jordan 11s, better than most other pairs of 11s, but it's still a decent amount more money. Now, I unfortunately was not able to grab my pair at ComplexCon. I actually had to get this pair resale. Shout out to FineLine1721 for coming through on this pair. You can also grab pairs through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen if you decide to grab a pair of these early, or maybe you missed out on the release and you want to grab a pair for resale. But I gotta be honest with you guys, a couple weeks ago I made a video, I think it was for the Air Jordan 11 Rare Airs, where I said I think Jordan Brand is killing the Air Jordan 11, or the special feeling of the holiday Air Jordan 11, by releasing like 11 different, or 9, I think it's 9 different Air Jordan 11s this year. And while yes, I understand it's the 30th anniversary, it's still a lot. Now you might be expecting me to say, oh, I've changed my mind now that I've got this pair in hand, I really like it, it's great, whatever, blah, blah. I still haven't changed my mind. I feel like they're taking a silhouette that I love and just pumping out a bunch of colorways, and it's just unnecessary. That said, does that mean that some of the colorways that are coming out are bad? No. I don't think all of them, there are some that I don't love, but colorways like this, and maybe the Mojaves, and even that Atlanta colorway, they're all solid. They just take away from that special holiday feeling of the Gamma release, which is dropping December 13th. If you guys want to check out my full review, click the link at the top of the screen. This pair is amazing, check it out, I love it, they did a great job with it. This pair, while not bad at all, in fact I think it's a pretty nicely done pair of Air Jordan 11s, it just feels like every other Jordan release. I gotta be honest with you. Maybe I'm just becoming an old head, I don't know, I still feel young at heart, but I remember Air Jordan 11 releases back in like 2009 and how special those were, and now in 2025, it just feels like another release. But enough of my feelings. I feel like I talk about feelings in every single Air Jordan 11 review. This is from now on going to be a completely feeling-free Air Jordan 11 review. I'm gonna talk about the materials, how much I like the materials, which I guess is also a feeling, but not how I feel like, well, you guys already know what I was gonna say there, but let's talk about the Air Jordan 11 H-Town. So as you could have guessed from the name, this shoe is inspired by Houston, and I believe it will have a primarily regional release in Houston and possibly a small release online. I'm actually not totally sure how they're gonna do the official rollout for this shoe. I wouldn't be surprised if it does release at a couple tier 1 accounts across the country. Maybe they won't. They're being kind of tight-lipped about it. That being said, the shoe will definitely release in Houston, and as it should. I mean, it's a Houston-themed pair of sneakers. Now, to get more specific about the inspiration, this shoe is inspired by Houston's vibrant car culture, and the suede used in the upper, I believe, is taken from, or again, inspired by the interiors of some of these cars, specifically the trunks. Actually, to read directly from Jordan Brand, it says, this shoe references Houston's famous hustle by representing the trunk of a car, locals' first boutiques when they're coming up, and the first flex when they get there. So that is the actual meaning behind the inspiration, according to Jordan Brand. I actually kind of dig this inspiration because it's something that you don't truly understand unless you're from Houston and you're part of that scene. I don't totally get it. I didn't completely comprehend what I was reading just there, but that's fine, I'm not supposed to. And that's honestly what makes it even more special. I recently had a conversation with Jeff Staple talking about the Staple Pigeon dunks, and he was saying that he didn't want it to be just some standard like Statue of Liberty dunk. He wanted it to be a pair of dunks inspired by something that only true New Yorkers would get. This is probably the same thing. I've never even been to Houston, so I actually don't know, but let me know in the comment section down below if you feel like this represents Houston, or hopefully your city, as it should. Now, something I can tell you doesn't represent Houston so well is the box, because it's just a standard Air Jordan 11 box. I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't decide to go all out in the box. I mean, you're paying $255 for a pair of Air Jordan 11s. They can't even give you like the nice drawer box anymore. Maybe that's reserved for holiday releases. We don't even get that in holiday releases anymore either. I don't know. Whatever the reason is, you got a pretty standard black Air Jordan 11 box. You got the Jumpman in the center with the Jumpman text in white. You've got a gray bottom of the box, and then of course the size tag. Now, FineLine1721 did have a size 9, so I grabbed a size 9 from him. The official colorway of this shoe is canvas metallic silver. We'll get to the metallic silver hit in a minute. It's actually really cool. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I don't think you get an extra set of laces, you don't. You get the carbon fiber paper. It's pretty standard fare. I understand that there's an argument to be made that the box doesn't matter. I totally get that. But as a collector, and I think all collectors can agree with this, the packaging is one of the most important parts. It's the first thing that you interact with when you get your new special item. And this is one of those special items that I think could have come in some Houston-specific packaging, even just like a recolor of the box. I don't know, something else, especially for like a hyper location-specific release like this. And they're probably trying to cut corners and save costs and things like that. I'm sure the actual designers wanted to do something cool. The more that I've learned about sneaker brands, the designers are awesome, generally across across the board. Every designer that I've ever met from a sneaker brand is awesome. They do really cool work. But the reason that the shoe comes out in ways that maybe isn't the best, or maybe doesn't feature the best packaging or the best materials, is because the brand is trying to save costs in some way, and some business person in a suit somewhere makes a decision like, no, we can't do that because it's too expensive. I mean, that's probably true for most products. That's something that I've experienced as a product designer coming up professionally, and it's something that I'm learning more and more of happens all the time in the footwear industry. So I'm sure whoever designed this shoe, shout out to you, by the way, but I'm sure you had some really cool ideas for the box and maybe the packaging, or maybe you didn't, I don't know. But my guess is you probably did. And someone probably was like, no, you can't. That's unfortunately not what's gonna happen. But hey, either way, moving on from the box, getting into the sneaker, the entire upper of this shoe is covered in this really nice, surprisingly buttery feeling, canvas colored suede. Now by canvas color, I guess they mean like a tan. Canvas can really be dyed any color, and I think it's sort of an off-white color, maybe not this exact shade of tan. I think this is just more of a medium tan or a sand color. But the suede itself feels decent for a pair of Air Jordan 11s. It's not like the nicest suede in the world. I don't know if it's synthetic or if it's real. Probably not the best cut of suede, but it does feel pretty good. It feels significantly better than what you usually get on a pair of Air Jordan 11s. I'll preface it like that. And it feels really nice. It looks pretty hairy. You can see where they've sort of skived, basically cut down on the material a little bit. Not to reference a whole nother video again, but I did a video where I took the Shatter Backboard Air Jordan 1s to a leather expert to talk about the difference in quality between the old ones and the new ones, and he was telling us all about the different ways that leather is made and what makes good quality leather and what makes bad quality leather, and how it's actually pretty hard to determine. You can't just base it off of thickness or feel, or obviously not texture. But things like skiving, where again, they shave off part of the leather or the suede or whatever the thing is to make it a certain size or thickness, is a detail that's done quite often. Now, of course, this suede doesn't just replace where the patent leather is on the bottom half of the sneaker. It also makes up the top half of the upper. You've got the suede on the padded upper of the shoe. You've got the suede on the lace loops. You've got the suede around the back of the sneaker, and also, of course, on the tongue itself. And it smells actually kind of nice. It doesn't smell like glue. I always think that good leather smells like a DSW. I'm not saying DSW uses good leather, but it uses in a lot of cases like better leather than what like a Foot Locker has, generally. Or a leather shop. Realistically, a leather shop probably smells better than a DSW. I probably should use that instead, but I feel like we've all walked into a DSW and know how that smells. Weaving through the lace loops, you've got these white contrasting rope laces, which I really like. I'm glad they went for a white and not a tan. I feel like the tan would have blended in too much. Of course, in the center of the tongue, you've got a white patch that says Jordan Jumpman, or Jumpman Jordan, excuse me, in that same sort of light Houston blue. The sock liner of the shoe comes in white, again accenting this tan color very nicely. And then inside the shoe, you've got this really nice light blue insole with the Jumpman on the heel in white. It's also a nicely padded foam insole. I really like it a lot. I've been talking a lot in recent reviews about how comfortable Air Jordan 11s are because I've been reviewing a lot of Air Jordan 11s, but genuinely, they're a comfy pair of shoes. They've got that full-length air unit. They've got a nice comfy insole, at least in these newer pairs. All around, dope pair of sneakers. Really like them a lot. On the back of the tongue is actually one of my favorite parts of the entire shoe. Not only do you have this nice light blue tag that matches the other blue hits on the rest of the sneaker, but you've also got these embroidered in star details, which I'll be honest, I didn't notice at first, but now that I see them, I think it's one of my favorite hits on the sneaker. I know that's crazy to say because it's on the back of the tongue, but it really is a very nice and subtle hit. Now, as far as sizing and fit goes, I'm not gonna make a big deal about it, but here we go. It's true to size. I mean, let's be real. What Air Jordan 11 recently hasn't fit the same? They all fit, in my case, true to size, and probably in most people's cases, true to size. I would suggest though, if you've never tried on a pair of Air Jordan 11s, if you have the chance to try on a pair at your local Foot Locker or somewhere that you can try on a pair, do it before you spend the money on this pair, because you don't want to spend 255 bucks, or realistically more than that, because these will probably sell out, just to make sure that you're getting the right size. Because there's nothing worse than spending a lot of money on a pair of shoes and realizing, oh, doesn't fit. Now I gotta sell it or flip it or trade it or something. But yeah, overall, true to size, fits just like every other pair of Air Jordan 11s. Grab whatever size you usually grab in 11s. Continuing back on the inside of the shoe, the medial side, you've got pretty much nothing. That's pretty par for the course. However, it gets exciting on the lateral side, the outside. You've got this metallic silver Jumpman, which I believe is actually metal. Now the crown jewel, you'll see in a second what I did there. The crown jewel of this piece is the jewel in the basketball. I was so dumb. I'm sorry about that, guys. I gotta make puns. It's just part of my MO. I have to do it. They've replaced the basketball on this Jumpman with a jewel, which is really cool to see. I like that a lot. It's a very, very unique detail and something that I don't think I've ever seen before in a pair of Air Jordan 11s. I don't know exactly what that stands for. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below if that has some bearing on Houston. Like, is Houston the jewel of Texas or something? I don't know. Either way though, nice hit. And actually something that I didn't see when I saw the shoe on Jalen Hurts' feet at the opening of the World of Flight store in Philadelphia, which by the way, if you guys didn't see my short form content on that, check it out. I've left a link to like my Instagram and my TikTok and all that sort of good stuff in the description below. Also, give me a follow on those platforms because I'm now dropping this series called Opening a Mystery Box Until I Find a Grail. I've yet to find a grail. I've done 3 mystery boxes so far, 2 of which are live. You guys can see what I got. We did get some pretty good stuff though. Honestly, some pretty exciting stuff. So seriously, check out that series on my Instagram, TikTok, things like that. Next to the metallic Jumpman, you've got this silver 23 detail that's heat pressed onto the back of the shoe. Nice little touch. It's not metallic silver. It's more of like a, just like a standard plastic or TPU silver detail. detail. It's not glossy like the Jumpman, but it's still a nice touch. Moving down on the shoe, of course, you get to this all-white midsole, which matches the sock liner and the laces very nicely. The carbon fiber on the midfoot comes in all black, and then moving to the outsole of the sneaker, you've got this sort of, I wouldn't really call it icy, it's more of like a semi-translucent blue midsole with these white pods on the heel and on the forefoot of the shoe. Very nice detail, and honestly, the blue makes this shoe pop. If they did not have this blue accent, I feel like the shoe might have fallen flat. Like on the Mojaves, the purple and purple look, that looks really clean. I actually really dig that shoe a lot. I didn't think I was gonna like it as much as I did, but the more I think about it, the more I'm like, that's a really dope shoe to wear like Ravens games and stuff. I might have to grab that pair. But either way, I have to say, I think this is the most interesting out of the regional releases of these Air Jordan 11s, and if it wasn't for the Mojaves, this would be my favorite. I think this is probably tied with the Mojaves. I really like this look a lot. The real question is though, is this shoe worth it? And I think if you really want a pair of Air Jordan 11s that's unique and honestly feels more premium than most other pairs of Air Jordan 11s, and realistically, if you like the colorway, then yeah, $255, while it is like 20, possibly 30, I think it's 20 bucks, more than the Gamma 11s that are dropping this year, which are also relatively expensive. Realistically, I also don't think it's crazy. I also don't think it's crazy to think that in the next couple years, maybe 5 to 10 years, we're gonna be seeing not these like super high-end Jordans, but like some of these mid-tier premium Jordans hitting $300. Like we've had pairs of Jordans hit $350 before, like special edition pairs, but for sort of like these mid-level releases like these, or maybe the Air Jordan 185s that have that nicer leather, those releases sit around $250. Again, it's a couple years away that those pairs are probably gonna be $300. I think it'd be crazy if they were $300, but who knows? But will I keep this pair of shoes? That's something I was hoping to answer for myself by the end of this review, but I don't think I've given myself a solid answer. I will say that I think I'm leaning more towards a no. And again, just because I don't need to spend the money on it. I have too many pairs of sneakers as it is, but also if I don't even fully understand the inspiration of the shoe, do I need to spend, I think it was like 3 something on this? Probably not. So because of that, I'll probably end up throwing this in Whatnot or something like that. Cool pair of shoes, but is it for me? Most likely not. But hey, you might feel differently. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you feel like this honors Houston? Do you feel like if you're from Houston, this is a shoe that you're proud to rock as a Houstonite or whatever they call it? Seriously, let me know those thoughts down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you all in the next one.